What's up everyone and welcome back to the channel. Now in this video here I just wanted to talk about a topic which I've been meaning to cover for a while now. It's something which has been on my radar, and whenever it pops up, whenever someone screams the words or the phrase cultural appropriation, it always plays back in my mind. And for me it always reminds me of just the missed opportunities that is staring us in the face, that we as a group of people should not only have on lock, but if any group were to try and come in to copy or appropriate, it wouldn't even make a difference. Why? Because they would have to come through us to do so. Now, firstly, I just want to put this out there. I do not agree with the term cultural appropriation. However, for the purpose of this video here, I'm going to use it in the context that people are familiar with. I mean, I think the whole thing is laughable at best. At the end of the day, when it comes to cultures, we as a people are more than happy to appropriate other cultures, and we always blame systematic oppression, racism for the reason why I need to do this. Nonsense. But anyway, that's a subject for another video. But the image on the screen that you're seeing, for me, personally now, I have to preface this is my personal opinion, but this is one of the most disheartening situations, and probably the number one thing which highlights exactly what I'm talking about. And to be fair to you, I did actually cover this briefly on another video, but I might as well come back and revisit this, because this, for me, is the number one thing I'm talking about when it comes to how other groups seem to be able to profit due to us as a people being in complete chaos, disarray, unorganized and unambitious. Now, for those who are in the UK, you know what this image is. If you're not in the UK, this is Turtle Bay. It's a restaurant. It's the UK's number one Caribbean restaurant, which has chains all over the country. Now, people are thinking, what's wrong with that? You can have a chain Caribbean restaurant, nothing wrong with that. You have chain restaurants in many other type of restaurants, whether it be Italian, whether it be Mexican, whether it be, American industries. But until you realize there's two things wrong here. Number one, the owner is non-black. So the owner is a Sri Lankan. For the life of me, I cannot pronounce his name. But if you Google him and the owner, you realize that he's from Sri Lanka, but he's not black and has no Caribbean heritage in him. And number two, this is also what kills me. The chain was founded and started in 2011. So that's less than 10 years ago. Now, this is what kills me, because when people scream this whole cultural appropriation, my first instinct is, how do we as a people allow this to happen? Now, bear with me here, because, again, he has every right in the world to be able to do this. There's nothing wrong with doing it at all. Again, I do not agree with the whole cultural appropriation. But let's take this as an example. We as a people have been here in this country long enough for us to have pulled together our resources so that we ourselves can have an elite chained restaurant serving Caribbean food. Because keep this in mind about Turtle Bay. Not only is it the number one Caribbean restaurant, but it's the number one chained Caribbean restaurant by default, because it's the only chain Caribbean restaurant in the whole of the UK. Why is that? Because we as a people have not come together enough to say, look, let's pull our resources together and let's create, and we've been creating this industry for the longest. So the question is, how we as a people not come together to create a chain, something which majority ambitious forward-thinking people would consider. So if anyone wanted to come in, so for example, if Turtle Bay wanted to be on the scene nowadays, if we had done what we should have done, they would have to have played second, third, fourth, and even fifth fiddle. Because guess what? We would have had that industry on lock. They would have had to come to us. And even still, guess what would have happened? It would have been a good restaurant, but it wouldn't have compared to X restaurant, Y restaurant, Z restaurant. Why? Because we would have something which, again, something that comes from our own people, we should have had that on lock. I mean, the funniest thing is, what do we do instead? I see constantly small takeaway businesses, Caribbean restaurants opening up damn near next to each other on the same street. Especially where I am. I can go out there and see about 5, 6, 7 restaurants on the same street serving the same tired-ass menu, the same tired-ass mess when it comes to customer service, lack of consistency, all the stereotypes that you hear about a Caribbean restaurant. I guarantee it. You pick one. You like, I go this one today, that one tomorrow, that one the next day. The same stuff you always see. You have to pick the right time, the right moment to get the the basic customer service and the basic expectation that you want in a takeaway business at the most. Now, again, just to preface, I am not knocking anyone trying to open a restaurant and to make a living. That's not what I'm trying to say. I understand that you have to start somewhere. Again, everyone has to start small, has to start somewhere and then build up. I completely get that. But you have to wonder, instead of opening up and being like 10 of the same type of restaurants in the same place, which you're going to be competing against each other, because this is the next thing as well. When you open up a business, you have to look at who you're competing with, the traffic, the market, all these kind of things you have to consider when it comes to just a purely business sense. So instead of actually trying to compete with each other, if you're a new person on the block, with the same tired-ass menu, the same look, the same everything, why is it that people have not come together? So at least maybe 2, 3, maybe 5 coming together, creating a bigger restaurant, a bigger situation where everyone can sort of take control of certain parts of the industry and making a bigger market. So basically all you guys can profit, as opposed to each and every one of you guys taking the profits off each other because you're opening up damn near next to each other. I mean, even when you look into the actual takeaway, when you look at the restaurants and you go inside, it looks dirty, grotty. It doesn't even look appealing to go in on the outside. The only reason why most people go in there is because guess what? They want the food there, and there's a lack of variety there. So if you don't want to go to Turtle Bay, you have to go to some tired-ass, looking-ass Caribbean restaurant, which, again, you're paying Russian roulette for the most part when it comes to what type of food you're going to get, if you're going to get the food you want, and whether it's going to be good this day or bad the next day. You're paying Russian roulette. So when I hear this talk about cultural appropriation, I always think, wow, how have we been so unfocused, so unorganized, that we still haven't got these basic things on lock? And the worst thing about it, and this is the reason why I brought up Turtle Bay, is because we're talking about the food industry. And we all know how important food is and will always be to every event and every situation that black people go up to. There's not one event I've ever been to when it comes to primarily black folks. Not one, I guarantee it, where the number one thing which you have to ensure is there. Above drinks, because like white people, they love drinks more than food. Black folk love food. There will never be an event that I've gone to or will ever go to where black people are the main people there and there will be no food. There's no event. I'm telling you, no event. But yet and still, with that being said, how is it possible that we have not come together to make sure that we have this unlocked? So much so that every single person has to come to us or go through us in order to get what they want in terms of a chain, in terms of a nice environment, in terms of how to copy off us, as opposed to looking at us thinking, there's an industry here which these people don't know what to even do with. I'm going to come in here late in the game and I'm going to set this up and I'm going to become the trendsetter, when they should be looking at us as the trendsetter. But what can I say? It is what it is. And last thing, before I wrap this video up, because I didn't want to drag it on for too long, but I would love to be able to go into a situation where I could sit down at maybe a 5-star Michelin type restaurant somewhere which serves these Caribbean food, where you can go in, get greeted with proper customer service from a waiter or waitress asking you to party of one, party of two, party of whatever. You sit down, they take you to your seat, they give you your menu. You don't have to worry about not having the food that's on the menu or taking extra long or the consistency being there. I would love to see that take place. But sadly, I fear the same situation that happened at Turtle Bay. It will take someone from the outside who can see the potential, because that's the thing here. They can see the potential. And guess what's going to happen when they create it? We as a people, that's right, us, are going to be forced to look in on the outside for something that we should have been the trendsetters. We should be the leading baton bearers and the main beneficiaries of all this kind of stuff. We should have this industry. If there's ever an industry that we should have had on lock for the longest, it's this one right here. But guess what? Again, we're always behind. We're always behind. But what can I say? But anyway, that's what I want to speak on today. It's something which I've been waiting to tackle for a while. It's something which really grieves me because, again, I love Caribbean food. It is what it is. And I'm thinking to myself, geez, if only as a people, man, we could have just come together. And the thing is, it's still possible. This is another thing. It's still possible. But the question is, will this ever happen? I don't know. Are we even united enough for it to take place? I have no idea. But it is what it is. But thanks for listening, everyone. Until next time, I'm out.